Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Our guest today is Gianni Kovasavitch, an investor and author who started various successful companies in the junior mining sector. Welcome back, Gianni.
Nice to be here, Ivan. These critical elements are on fire right now. Silver over 50 bucks, gold 4,100, and oil
Wow.
in the toilet. Oil at $60, less than $60. Unbelievable times we're living in right now.
I wanted to get you on to talk to you about, what's the sudden moves right now, especially like in silver, we're at new all-time highs. And I also wanted to talk to you about lithium. Nobody is talking about lithium. And what we spoke about before we started recording, you said, energy stocks are just, there's something wrong with them. So what's happening in silver? And then we can go into lithium.
Lithium's interesting because exactly that. No one's talking about it. Imagine everyone here that's waited for silver and gold to move, and gold did move, and then the shares sort of lagged, and all of a sudden everything's taken off. If you wish you could turn the clock back, maybe you didn't participate quite as much, lithium is in a bull market. The lithium and battery tech ETF is almost doubled since April. It is absolutely, without question, in a bull market. Setup coming. We'll talk about that later. But we see with silver basically is doing what it always does. It's up 6% today, gold up 3%. It is playing catch up. We got to 100-to-1 ratio, unprecedented, meaning that it took how many ounces of silver to buy an ounce ago? 100 to 1 it was. We're at about 80 now. That's going to continue to close the gap. I think everyone that watches this show probably would sympathize with that.
Yeah.
That trade's happening in real time. The silver stocks have taken off, but look at oil trading at less than $60. And if you recall, back in 1980, when Ronald Reagan was running for president, and he talked back then on the William F. Buckley show about that ratio, and he says maybe because the Arabs, what they did is particularly OPEC, they raised oil for the first time to $35 back in 1980, at the same time that gold made its all-time high in January, went to the $800 an ounce, as everyone knows. But what Reagan said, he said to William F. Buckley, maybe what OPEC is telling us, we're not buying into this US dollar. You guys are debasing the US dollar. It's losing all its spending power. And we used to trade 10 barrels of oil for 1 ounce of gold. That trade went out the window, which is why they kept raising the oil price. That ratio today is about 68 barrels of oil to buy 1 ounce of gold.
Wow.
Even though I have been negative on oil, but the US dollar has lost so much of its spending power, so much of its value. I'm actually going to be positive on oil. I think the gold to oil ratio is going to narrow again. Could we see oil at $100 a barrel? I think that's a layup now. Not that it's worth more, but because the US dollar has lost so much of its value. Could we see oil by 2030 at $200 a barrel? I think that's a real trade right now. But the biggest money is going to be made in lithium. And that's what I think the bulk of what we should talk about should be about the lithium trade.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stackers. Please hit the like and subscribe button. It will really help the silver and gold community grow. It'll help this channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. Back to the video. Why is that? Why do you think the lithium is going to be a big opportunity?
Well, oil's the biggest commodity in the world trading wise. It always has been, probably will be for the next 15, 20 years. Okay, over $2 trillion traditionally. But then you look at the metals. You've got iron ore, gold. Gold's going to surpass it now with its value. Then you have aluminum, nickel, zinc, silver. Lithium is not there. A report just came out that said by 2035, lithium is going to be like a $17 to $20 billion market. So when you look at all those, it's no longer a niche metal. It's going to be one of the 6 or 7 most important commodities. With that is going to come a more mature pricing environment. It's going to have a better futures market. But the CAGR demand growth rate for lithium, Ivan, 20 to 25%.
Wow.
You do not need a pencil and paper to figure this out. There is going to be this continued demand. And right now at the Financial Times and the New York Times over the weekend came out with these big stories, what's going on globally, but more importantly in China. And the graphic that I can actually share with you, they have all the backup battery systems for renewable energy. Okay, so what's going to happen in the next 24 months? You've got all these boxes of where they are right now, and it's going to grow more than 25% CAGR growth rate. And this is all fueled by lithium. And it can only come from three places. The salars that everyone knows about, which is evaporation, 1 to 2 years waiting for the lithium, hard rock mining, or DLE, direct lithium extraction. And you should be speculating on DLE because you're speculating with big oil and gas. They've went all in. They believe in lithium, and they're not going to do the salars. They're not going to do hard rock mining. It's DLE. Remember that. This is the trade now. If you want to turn your clock back, if you wish you could buy a cheap share, you need to be looking at the DLE stocks. And something like I can suggest in the strongest possible way to look at something like Lithium Bank, LBNK, because the market cap is low. You got a $22, $23 million market cap. And even in its peer group, you have a company like E3 with a $100 million market cap and a company like Standard Lithium with a $1.2 billion market cap. 63 million shares outstanding. I will submit to people that lithium is going to continue to climb. The ETF is going to do very well, LIT, which means more money coming in the sector. And big oil is going to keep moving the chains forward. That DLE is the commercial process to provide lithium in the future, to go into a battery of the future. And so looking at a company like Lithium Bank, which just received $4 million from the Alberta government, 3.9 million to be exact, which
Really?
is into financing the feasibility study, which is going to be completed by Schlumberger, the gold seal in oil and gas. The biggest oil and gas service provider is doing or looking to do the work for Lithium Bank. They already did their resource. Now, they're talking about doing a feasibility study. They have the money now, and that's what's going to drive the news forward. It is the speculation right now as we go into the fourth quarter here of 2025. Lithium, direct lithium extraction, and a company like LBNK Lithium Bank, which I believe is going to close the gap on its peer group and just go with the trend that all that wind is on their backs now, Ivan.
What is what is it at right now, I guess, on the charts for the lithium bank? Like, is it at all-time highs, or is it just where is it at in the past 5 years?
It just broke through. It went down this terrible cascade. It fell with all the other lithium stocks. It went from $2 a share. It bottomed out around 22 cents. And then they got this cash injection from the Alberta government. It's now trading at 35. But where was the money raised? Before the successes that the team has had, and remember, it's only fallen in sympathy with a bad sentiment for lithium and a low lithium price. Okay. They raised their money in reverse order: dollar a share, $1.90 a share, $1.50 a share, 80 cents a share. So the people who own these shares, now there are founder shares that were done before when it was just a name. There was no project in the company, right? But other than that, when the money was raised, so we are closer to the bottom than we are at the top. 100% control of their projects, 63 million shares outstanding. So if you look at something like E3 with a $100 million market cap, for it to echo, to have the same market cap, you're talking $1.50 a share. There's a reason they were able to raise $8 million and $9 million at $1.50, $1.90. And so now we're going to see what happens with their next 15 months. Very important. They have the money. They have also some flow through cash, going to drive news. And this stock, of course, I own a lot of it. I'm very conflicted here. But I think that's something people should follow. But more importantly, let's see how that performs compared to the other things. Because juniors that have already taken off, if you're looking at something that's aided by the market and the demand is there, it is going to come once again. And it already is on the front page of the newspaper, but vis-a-vis looking at big battery, backup battery systems, the fact that electric cars are now 50% of sales in China are the electric car. The demand, it's already there. It's hiding in plain sight. So that's the trade right now, in my view, compounded, and also looking at oil. I think oil could be very interesting in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years as it closes that ratio gap. Cannot stay 68 to 1 to gold in the long run. I just don't see that trade happening. I think that's going to also be interesting.
What are the most important applications for lithium? Is it just green energy? Is it just, electric vehicles? What are the most important ones?
Absolutely, it's batteries. We're talking about, originally we had the lithium ion batteries, which is the NCM, nickel, cobalt, manganese. And then the Chinese and other people have come up with the LFP, the lithium iron phosphate battery. A little bit dumber, cheaper, not as sophisticated or for the highest of high quality applications of the most expensive electric car. And so the weight of an NCM battery, about 10% of that would be lithium, of the lithium iron phosphate, about 8%. And
Okay.
even we go forward to the future, which are going to be solid state batteries, you look at 20 leading chemistries, they all start with Li. So lithium is going to continue to be an important part there. To answer your question, it's all about batteries, but not just cars. It's these huge backup battery systems augmenting renewable energy. And just if you look at the Financial Times or look at the New York Times this weekend, these were two very big stories, and they're showing particularly these projects in China, which you can see from outer space. They're the size, the solar field in that project in China, in Tibet, it's basically 2x the size of Manhattan. I mean,
Wow.
I actually took a screenshot. It's just enormous. And now Tesla has this new sophisticated battery, which they're able to put in a container, 2x more powerful than the old batteries. So all the battery system with fewer connection points is put in a container, and it's the containers they roll out to the field. And then imagine a football field of these containers. And this is what, when the solar power turns off at night, these batteries are what gets us through to midnight as industry and society still runs. Midnight, we go to sleep, a lot less electricity demand, and it works. It
Wow.
works. This is now becoming the mainstream, and this is going to grow by a power of magnitude. I'll send you one more graphic you want to use, maybe, just to
Yeah.
show all the different countries. We're here, they're going to go to that across the board because it works. And the prize is so big. That's what everyone's focusing on. And the winner is going to be lithium, but not from salars at the margin from hard rock mining. It's going to be direct lithium extraction, and that's going to be driven forward by oil and gas companies, not mining companies.
And now a message from our sponsor, Juggernaut Exploration.
One of the more exciting ones, I think, is Juggernaut. I know some people say, well, lightning can't strike twice, and but look, I think one of the things you got to reflect on is that some of the guys who work here at Juggernaut are some of the same geologists that basically found and have now advanced sherbet at Goliath, okay, over the past years. So they have a very different way of thinking about exploration in the Golden Triangle than most other geologists, okay? And they've gone out and they've identified what could be another sherbet type target here. And the size of these veins is absolutely jaw dropping. My hunch is these guys are onto something pretty special.
The link in the description is right below for Juggernaut Exploration. Now back to the episode. Yeah, it's really exciting that you explain all of this to be because everyone on here, of course, is heavy into silver, heavy into gold, heavy into precious metals. But if you want to diversify and look at other things like lithium, I think it's a great opportunity. So it's going to be exciting because energy is going to be such a big thing. It is such a big thing. But as we move forward into all the global conflicts and U.S. trying to restart their manufacturing and they're trying to, fight China. Yeah, it'll be really big. Oil and of course lithium. So, thank you, Gianni, for coming down and explaining that to all of us.
Yeah, it's been great, and we'll be in touch. This is a report card. Let's see where we are closer to Christmas. I think we should do a follow-up about then on
Yeah.
all these things, and then we'll do another one maybe in the spring because this is a to be continued. This is a dynamic sort of opportunity or speculation, if you will, right now.
Yeah, I want to see where lithium is in by December, January. Let's see what just like a report card. We'll see next time we
Yeah.
talk. I want to make sure to see where we're at from the last conversation. Gianni, yeah.
Remember, don't just follow the lithium price because we know we're not being fooled by that false Chinese price. It's where the governments are going to underwrite the projects to have a guaranteed buyer at a good fair price. And that's where these projects are all the feasibilities are going to go forward for. You want to follow LIT, the ETF, the Lithium and Battery Tech ETF, symbol LIT on NASDAQ.
hmm Well, Gianni, thank you so much for coming and explaining that to all of us. It's such a huge pleasure. Where can people connect with you? I'm going to put your links in the description below, but where can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can get me on Twitter. Twitter's the best place. I also have my website. I have some of my past interviews. We used to talk copper. We used to talk gold. And, with these things as they come to fruition, it's, just to use like Rick Rule, he says he always pivots into that what is hated by the market.
Yeah.
But hated for what reason? When it's hated and it has a 25% CAGR growth rate, wow, your antenna has to go up. And that's why. So they can get me on Twitter and also my website, mylastname.com, and my book for those that haven't read it or heard it or viewed it on Amazon. Just look me up and you'll see there, and you get all the links to get that as well. Very live still, I think. Still very current.
No, thank you so much, Gianni. Such a huge pleasure. And as the market develops, we'd really love to have you back on soon just so we can check on that report card.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Talk to you soon, Gianni.